Hey, Scott Jordan here. We're on the road again. It's Jancast.com, the road edition. And we're driving down the road in Georgia on our way to visit with Richard Rones at Americo. Richard and I served on the ISSA board together and looking forward to seeing his operation and talking about the industry and what's happening in the future. So stay tuned for this episode. Thanks a lot. Got to watch the road. Jancast number 85, and it's 2015. I have Richard Rones from Americo, and we're outside the facilities over that way. Good morning, Richard. Thanks for taking some time to sit down in Globey. I call this Globey. Ever seen Pee Wee Herman?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where Globey came from. So that's Globey. In case anybody's checking it out, you can do a Google search on it for those people that don't know what Globey is. But I'm out touring, and great to see your facility. You showed me the matting part, but give me kind of a rundown on the history. You did it a little bit when we were walking around, but for the people that don't know about Americo, give me a little bit of history of the company and what you do and all that.
Well, first off, I appreciate you coming here. Welcome. It's always nice to see you. The company was founded, Americo, by my dad in 1967. So we're approaching 50 years old, late, about 45, 46 years in business. And historically, as a janitorial products manufacturer, our main products are floor buffing pads and hand pads and cleaning products. The facility here that we're at today, we manufacture mats, walk-off mats. We also do logo mats, custom imprint mats for the ad specialty business. But we have a long history in the janitorial cleaning products. My dad started, and I'm a second generation, and I've got a brother in the business as well as a brother-in-law. So it's been a nice business to be in.
Yeah, and we know each other from ISSA days. You were secretary, and I was treasurer, I think, at that time, wasn't I?
Yeah. And president.
Yes, and president. And you running?
I am running.
Yeah. Well, let's make that official for everybody tuning in.
I'm going on the record. I'm running for president for 2000. Well, it would take effect 2016, 2015 board as the vice president. So
good.
I've thrown my hat in the ring.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you'll run unopposed. Get the word out early. That's my campaign manager was Lou Gorland early on when I first started. Serving with ISSA. He said, tell people early you're running and you'll scare them off. And you're trying to continue a tradition of other guys that you know that are currently coming into play or they're in office.
Yeah, well,
right?
I'm good friends and have known quite for some time David Sykes, who's the current vice president, president-elect. He'll become president next year, and he is following Alan Tomlin, who is the current president. And an interesting fact, and I can assure you it wasn't planned this way, but Alan Tomlin, the president of the ISSA, Ken Bodie, the vice president, president-elect of the ISSA, and Richard Rones, who will be running for vice president, president-elect, all happen to be University of Georgia alumni.
Perfect.
So while that wasn't planned that way, I think it's safe to say it would be the first time that 3 alumni from the University of Georgia would be on the ISSA board.
The stars align properly, right? Good.
But I've known David Sykes for quite some time, Alan, several other board members I've had the pleasure of working with and serving on. And, the ISSA has been just a huge part of your, your involvement as well as mine over the past. I've gotten a tremendous amount out of it, and I think the ISSA has done a tremendous job of helping to build and educate the industry. So I'm really excited about that also.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. The people you meet, certainly met you and your wife and a bunch of other people when we were on the board together, and then those are almost lifelong connections you end up with, and some of it's business, some of it's not, but it's fantastic. So those of you that are tuning in, you should run for office, not when Richard's running, but afterwards. So you can start out as district director and kind of work your way up. Well, speaking of the association and business, how do you see things with all these changes that are taking place? We have a lot of people coming in, a lot of businesses coming in from out of the standard Jansen industry. How's that impacting your business at all, if anything?
Well, what's interesting is for Americo, we've been in business for a long time. but we don't look at that as a route necessarily for success in the future. Just because we've been in business for a long time doesn't mean that we're going to be in business for a long time to come. The only thing that is constant is change. And Americo, the people that we have, recognize that. We've seen in our industry tremendous consolidation going back 10, 15 years ago, where historically the industry was heavily concentrated of small and medium-sized independent janitorial supply distributors. Now you have a smaller group, regional players, some national players. You now have other companies from outside traditional Jansan channels that are getting into the market. And so you really have to look at and make decisions. How do you want to approach that? And the question is, how do we get our products in the hands of the end users, and how do we educate them as to the benefit our products offer other competitive products? How they get there is certainly of importance, but to us it's not the critical importance. We historically rely on Jansan distributors because our products, floor pads, are part of a cleaning product system, a floor care system. It's not like a sheet of paper where you just put it in a printer and it prints. It's part of a component system. It has to be sold, it has to be demonstrated, and that's where distributors, we see, provide tremendous value. The distributor salespeople can go in and show their customers how our products will work with a particular floor finish and a particular floor machine and give them results that they're looking for. So we certainly value the distributor's role in that process, but the key is we want the end user, the person that's actually using these products, to understand and see the value they get by using Americo's pads.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of pieces of the puzzle, so it's not quite a commodity type thing where you can just say, this pad's going to work for every situation, because you're right, I hadn't really thought about it. The machine's completely different, the finish is different, and you have to kind of piece all those puzzles together to be able to give the right thing.
And we do, one of the things we do is a tremendous amount of testing. We have our own testing facility where we can put different floor finishes down and use different machines, battery, propane, electric, ultra high-speed machines, standard swing machines, and then we can determine the level of gloss through each of these variables, and then go back to our customers and say, based on this particular finish, based on this particular machine, these are the top 2 floor pads that we would recommend.
Okay.
So we can give them the top performing products and eliminate guessing, which does this one work with this or does this one work with that. So that's one of the values and benefits that we offer to our customers, and it's, I think, been an important part of the success.
Yeah. Well, I know you also do a lot in the international arena, as well as the green aspect. What's green mean to floor pads? Because I know that's a big thing for you.
Yeah, green. We were actually green before there was a green, and before What was interesting is it actually started. It's a part of our culture and our history in trying to use environmentally sustainable solutions. Our facilities are maintained that way. Our processes are worked around that. But we partnered with, going back over a decade ago, I think it's been about 12 years, one of our key fiber suppliers, and polyester fiber is a key raw material component of floor pads. We had worked with them on utilizing a recycled polyester fiber as the base component. It turned out it's available source. It's a good quality source. And so the company we had partnered with had invested millions of dollars in a state-of-the-art bottle recycling facility, and we started to use 100% recycled polyester fiber.
So it comes from bottles?
Primarily water bottles and soda bottles.
And we have a lot of those.
And this was before there was any green movement. And it actually was a customer of ours that came through our facility on a tour a number of years ago from California that saw our operation, and then learned for the first time that all the floor pads that we've been manufacturing and they had been buying from us was made out of 100% recycled fiber. And that was when green was becoming important, and they said, you're onto something. You need to be marketing this. You need to be out there selling this. And so now, obviously, that's been a big, important part of our marketing campaign is to
I've seen it in
educate
ads, yeah.
that Americo uses 100% recycled fiber in manufacturing our floor pads. But we don't stop there. What's interesting is we recognize that while we were doing a lot of work on the front end, keeping water bottles and soda bottles from ending up into a landfill, um, when you use that fiber to make a floor pad, and then that floor pad is used to clean a floor, what happens to the floor pad?
Yeah.
It ends up in a landfill.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing a great job of keeping bottles. In fact, we had estimated when we started this program that we have kept over 460 million
Wow.
12-ounce bottles out of landfills.
Hmm.
So that's a pretty staggering figure.
Yeah.
But we've made millions of floor pads, and those floor pads ultimately end up in a landfill. And the one thing we know is it takes a long time for a floor pad to biodegrade in a landfill. So we did a lot of work on what we call full cycle, and we launched just almost a year ago what we call full cycle. We developed and have a patent pending on all of our floor pads now. Once they have been used and disposed of in a landfill, will biodegrade in a fraction of the time as traditional standard floor pads.
Huh?
We had outside ASTM testing. There's a test methodology that determines the rate of biodegradation of plastic in a simulated landfill. It's done by an outside agency.
Mm-hmm.
And they determined that our floor pads, our full cycle floor pads, in just over a year, 14 months, biodegraded 90%.
Wow.
So, we have a product that will fully biodegrade in a fraction of the time in a landfill versus, standard floor pads. They don't know how long it takes to biodegrade, but they know it's measured in centuries.
Yeah, I bet.
So, we think that that's an absolute game changer
Yeah.
in the market. The quality of the pad has not changed. The price hasn't changed. So we can now offer our customers and the market a floor pad that first and foremost works. It
Mm-hmm.
performs unparalleled in the industry. They don't have to sacrifice performance.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to pay a premium, but they can now buy a product that they know once they use and throw away will biodegrade in a short period of time and leave a very small environmental impact compared to traditional floor pads.
Wow. And that's unique to your company?
Yeah, it's unique
Good.
to our company. We just launched it. It's patent pending. We think that we'll get a patent on it, and it's certainly unique in the market. The market has nothing remotely close to this, and we think it's going to be a game
Good.
changer.
Well, I'll give you some advice on the patent part. Patents are only as good as your patent attorneys.
Yes.
So if you get the
Yes.
patent, then the
Yes.
next step is
Yeah.
going after all the people that
Yeah.
rip off your
Yeah.
patent, because we have a patent on the first non-butyl cleaner,
Uh-huh.
and we kind of wish we had never patented it because it opened it up, and then we were a small company at the time. It was like, well, how are we going to sue all these big guys to stop them from using it? If we had just kept it at patent pending, then we would have had the exclusive on it for a few more years. But that's like the guy that makes the flashlights. I think he makes more money on those metal flashlights, makes more money on patent infringement suits than he does on the product.
Wow.
So watch out for that. And we know each other from international business too. You and I both our companies both exhibit at the ISSA show, Interclean show in Amsterdam, and so you do a lot of international business as well.
We do. We actually sell to over 70 countries worldwide. International is a very big part of our business. We have what we call trading partners worldwide. So when we go to the market internationally, what we're looking for, because Americo doesn't have a presence per se in Australia or in England or in Germany, we don't have our own distribution facility and methods, but we have trading partners. So in Australia, we have a partner called Edie Oates, and they bring in container loads of our product, and then they'll redistribute. Sometimes it's done under private brand, sometimes it's done under the Americo brand, and sometimes it's co-branded. So it really just depends on the country, but what we typically are looking for is the strongest player in a particular market, and we'll engage with them for distribution of our products in that country.
The distribution situation is completely different from, as you know, from each place you go. Like in Europe, they don't have distributors like we do. It's just very interesting. You kind of have to learn a whole different language, and not only the spoken language, but the business language as to how to go to market.
And to even complicate it more, we actually manufacture different products for different countries.
Okay.
And certain products.
Those are requirements.
Requirements, and also perception. Especially in European countries, what's perceived as working well is a different product than what would work well in the U.S. And the floor finishes can be different in the U.S. than in Europe. So we will actually custom manufacture products based on specific country needs.
We have customers overseas. You and I know, share one that specifically says it must say "Made in USA" on it, because they want to tout the fact that the products come from USA, which is great to have people that don't want to just kind of hide that. They want to show that it came from USA. Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to visit here. It's a little chilly. You can hear the wind blowing, and Georgia's supposed to be nice and warm. I came down here to get warmed up.
It is February, so you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much.
Scott, thank you.
Yep.